Hello, friends. It's Greg here again on the Blue Feather Ephemera channel. I have an eBay store by the same name where I sell vintage magazine print advertising, and I'm back to show you what sold during week number 45 of 2024. This is the week that covers October the 30th through November the 5th. I've got some great ads to show you, so stay tuned. We start this week with another one of those cigarette advertisements from the mid century. This one for Kent cigarettes, and they're talking about their micronite filter. This is another one of those advertisements from the mid century where they're trying to convince people that cigarettes just aren't bad for them, or at least they're taking steps to make cigarettes safer. And in the 1930s and 40s, they were actually trying to convince folks that you'd feel better and digest food better if you were a smoker. And then by the 1950s, they're trying to say, at least we won't kill you. But in the detail here, you can see this fella's set up with, probably not a real scientific looking test by today's standards, but it's meant to be perceived that way for 1953. This ran in Life magazine, $21.77, sent it to New York. Next up is this advertisement from 1941 for sanitary napkins, and this ran in American Girl magazine. The brand here is Kotex, and the point of it, being aimed toward teenage girls, is to explain changes in their bodies. And the title of the advertisement is called "The Things a Dancing Daughter Ought to Know." And the point of this, they're offering a booklet that's called As One Girl to Another that answers questions for young moderns. And I wanted to that's mentioned right here. For this booklet answers so many questions that confront the modern teenage girl. And I've talked about this before, I think, in the 1930s and 40s, the word modern was all the rage. And even in my little hometown here, so many of the different stores, I can think of at least four, had the word modern in the name of the store, like modern furniture and modern home and appliance and modern, so on. So anyway, that was the buzzword of the 1940s, was modern. This ad sold for $12.77. It's on its way to the United Kingdom. On the screen now is an advertisement that ran in Fortune magazine in 1965, and the advertiser is the First City National Bank of Houston. And in the detail of the ad here, basically what they're doing, this is business recruiting. They said that of 20 major metropolitan areas in the nation, Houston has the lowest cost of living for food, clothing, transportation, medical care. All those things are reasons why people and businesses should relocate to Houston. And it says that Houston, where the living is better and cheaper, and it shows some folks enjoying the swimming pool here in the ad. I sold this for $18.77. It went to Texas. To me, this is probably the funniest sell of the week, and I'll explain why in just a minute. The product here is Van Camp's Foods Tenderoni Macaroni. They've got a new and improved macaroni out. This being a publication, the Quartermaster Review Magazine, 1946. It's targeted toward military quartermasters and I guess the officers of ships' stores, but they're selling their macaroni product to the U.S. military. Now, I sold this ad to Italy, and I think that's funny because if I'm good enough to sell pasta ads to the Italian, well, I'm selling macaroni to the Italians, is what I'm doing here. I think that's kind of cute. But anyway, $8.77 was the price this fetched. Now, this is my second global shipping program sale of the week. I know we're not tracking that as closely here late in the year as we did earlier, but I've noticed I've had quite an uptick in international sales, and I'm wondering if anybody else is selling more internationally as well. I don't know if, folks in Europe, for example, both the UK and Italy have that 20% value added tax. I don't know if those folks are just kind of getting used to that and dealing with it, or if eBay's doing a better job of getting our American ads in front of those European buyers. But I'm selling more overseas. I'm happy about that. This ad sold for $8.77 going to Italy. This is the first of four ads going to one buyer, and all four of these are for pipe tobacco. This first one, I don't know how you pronounce that. Douwe, maybe Dewey, Dowie. I don't know, but anyway, Egbert's Amphora extra mild Cavendish pipe tobacco. And I sold this one for $8.77. This is a small ad. Here's the size of it right here. Barely over 3 by a little bit over 5. And this ad is going to that buyer in Oregon. I forgot to mention that Amphora tobacco ad ran in Argosy Magazine 1965. Now, this is the first of two Carter Hall advertisements. One ran in Argosy. This is the other that ran in True Magazine 1959. And here you just see it's an ad of about the same size, almost identical size here, a little bit over 3 by 5.5 on this one. This is Carter Hall pipe tobacco, and I sold this one also for $8.77. This is ad number 3 to that buyer. This fellow's out hunting. He's got his hunting cap on and his shotgun and smoking his pipe. He says, I've given up hunting because I've discovered everything a pipe smoker hunts for. Another Carter Hall ad, about the same size, $8.77, 3 inches by 5.5. This one from Argosy Magazine. And this is ad number 4 to that buyer. This one, a little bit bigger, a little bit more expensive. This ran in the Quartermaster Review, 1943. So it's a war era ad from that military publication, or it's the publication marketed to the military, put it that way. And this shows a fisherman casting away his fishing pole because he got a whiff of that wonderful Briggs aroma. It says, bait your hook and load your pipe with Briggs for a blissful experience. This was $14.77. All four of these went to Oregon. I'm running a holiday special right now. Buy 3 ads or more for 30% off. So this buyer got a good discount. Here's an advertisement that invites just a little bit of additional commentary here, and we'll go over that. The company is Lee. It's Lee Work Clothes, and specifically the Frisco jeans. They're blue jeans, and it shows a welder wearing these. And this appeared in True Magazine 1971. Now, Lee, they're proud of their status as a union company, and on all of their advertisements, you'll in labels you'll also see that it says Lee Union Made Work Clothes USA, and it says that they're a company of the Vanity Fair Corporation. Now, the extra commentary here, I wanted to mention this because both Frisco, if you think of San Francisco, what people commonly call Frisco, is spelled Frisco and not even Frisco. And Frisco would even be questionable spelled with a C because it's Francisco, San Francisco. But then they also spell jeans weird. And so that's why going back to look at the original listing, I listed jeans spelled the strange way and jeans spelled the right way. And that's so that I could make sure that I captured anybody looking for jeans spelled the right way. So you got to be careful of that kind of thing in your listing. Just make sure that if you're going with the ad, pay attention to search terms as well, because not everybody searching for blue jeans is searching for Frisco jeans, and they're going to spell jeans the right way. So, that's how I handle it, and I seem to have good success with it. $8.77 sent this advertisement to California. Here's another advertisement that demonstrates a lot of history, and we won't go into great detail, but we'll kind of scratch the surface here. This is called the North Carolina Plan for War Production, and this is presented by Governor J. Melville Broughton of North Carolina. And this ran in Fortune magazine 1942. These are the first months of World War II. And basically, what North Carolina presents here, and we'll take a look at just a little bit of the detail here. It says that in North Carolina, there is immediately available 1,359,000 square feet of factory floor space in 47 plants. And of course, it's signed by the governor of North Carolina. But this statement is supported by the Southern Governors Conference. And of course, if they can shift a lot of war production southward to North Carolina, a lot of these southern states will be tapped to, support those plants as well. And so, what you're seeing in this ad in World War II is for the first time you're seeing a lot of industrial construction and building from the southern states, because up until that time, we always thought of the country as the industrial North and the agrarian South. But especially around the southern cities of Mobile, Alabama, and uh, Biloxi, Mississippi, and those places, a lot of shipbuilding going on down there. And Birmingham was a steel town with coal and iron resources available to it. And so a lot of things changed like that during World War II. I sold this ad for $23.77, and it went back to North Carolina. If you watched my last What Sold video, during that recording, we overheard a sell notification, and I remember saying National Steel Corporation. Well, this is the ad that sold then, and this is the ad that brought the most money this week at $26.77. This ran in Fortune magazine 1954, and it's a two-page ad separated. Right there's the center seam. It meets up really good. This ad was in great shape. And it says ahead of schedule, 4 million tons a year to supply industry. Uh, the actual blast furnace here is at Detroit. Great Lakes Steel, a subsidiary of National Steel Corporation. So 2677 sent this back to Michigan. I was thrilled to see this ad right here sell, because this is my first sale from a magazine called Omni. Omni was a magazine that was popular in the late 70s, early 80s. I think they were tied in with Fawcett Publications, the same publisher as Playboy and a couple other things. But anyway, uh, real slick magazine, good quality paper, great advertising. And so, like I said, this is my first sale from it. This one ran in 1980. The advertiser is Hewlett Packard Calculators, and it shows this fella here on Christmas morning. He's excited about his Christmas gift of a Hewlett Packard calculator. I sold this ad for $16.77. It went to Wisconsin. Here's something else new I'm trying out. This is from a publication called Ideals, and Ideals is a little bit different. There's no advertising in the Ideals magazine except for a little self promotion, subscription cards to that, to its own publication, and a couple of in house products that they do, like greeting cards. But from cover to cover, what it is it's like poems and inspirational stuff and feel good content, and all of that. It focuses on holidays and seasons, and the seasons of life, I guess you'd say. But this specific one, it's a Christmas party, and the toddler is watching from the top of the stairs here. And in the title, I wrote Raggedy Ann doll, but now that I look at it closer, I'm pretty sure that's a Raggedy Andy. And I believe that signature on the picture there is John Walter. He's the fella who illustrated this picture, but it's a real cute image of that child watching the revelers. This lady up here is carrying in coffee, and everybody's laughing and smiling and having a good time around the Christmas tree. And that's the way Christmas ought to be. $10.77 sent this to Georgia. If you've watched the channel much at all, you know I love my car advertising. And this one here ran in Playboy Magazine 1982. They're advertising a 1983 Porsche 944. In the title of the listing, to catch attention, I wrote red sports car. Those might be some search terms that people are searching for. And all of this detail about the car, it's described up here about the size of the motor and the speeds and all that kind of stuff. But this is signed by Dr. F. Porsche of Stuttgart. And he's obviously a member of the company's family, and he may be running the company at this point. I'm not sure about that. But I want to go back to the listing title here and just quickly point out people shopping for car advertising. A lot of times they care more about the model year of the car in the advertisement than they do about the year the advertisement ran. I always put the publication year in the title, so it says 1982. But if it's a 1983 car, you better be sure I'm putting 83 in the title of the listing also to help the buyers find that. Again, $12.77, Playboy Magazine. It's on its way to Illinois. This advertisement that you're looking at now is one of many that I've sold from a magazine called Model Aircraft News. And I got a lot of these magazines. I think there was probably about 10 in the lot. And I sent several copies to a friend of mine, but I kept two or three for myself, and I've listed ads out of them. I've got one or two more left. But this is basically just a hobbyist publication, and they run advertisements like this. This is Mercury Model Airplane Company. This ad ran in 1949. Now, an item in this advertisement is glow plug motors that you see right down here. I'll zoom in a little bit. It's a small ad. It's roughly 5.5 by 5.5, but in the detail here, they're just talking about all of the different aircraft and parts and the specifications for them that you can order from that company based in Brooklyn, New York. I sold this to Brooklyn, New York for $8.77. Our last ad of the week is also an interesting ad from 1965. It ran in Fortune magazine, and this is an airline called North Central Airlines. They serve 10 Midwestern states, 90 cities in those states in Canada, and their mascot here is called Herman the Duck. It says, "Our Herman is an obliging sort of duck. He'll do anything for you." And you hear Marty over at the Jiminy Flip It channel talking about this is one of his favorite things to list and sell is advertising for defunct airlines. I sold this one for $16.77, and it's on its way to Minnesota. Here on the recap screen, let's take a look at week 45 totals. I sold 16 ads for $228.32. Now remember, a few of those ads went out on that 30% discount, so the net profit's going to be a little bit lower. Um, I'm still showing right now these ads broken down by decade, and I think that's an interesting way to look at it. I've not had any feedback on showing this yet. I'd like to know what you think about it. But anyway, from the 1940s, I sold 5 advertisements, and the average sales price for those was $13.77. The 1950s got first place this week. 4 ads, the average sales price $16.52. And then there you see the other decades broken down as well. No ads from the 20s or 30s or the 90s or 2000s. Those are the other decades that I list. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. I really hope you liked looking at those ads. There was some groovy ads that we sold this week. I was excited to show them to you, and I'm eager to show you what's coming up too, because we've got some fun stuff in store during the next What Sold video. Already, it's looking like it's going to be gangbusters. So come back for that. I hope you'll join me again next week when we talk about something else. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, there's several simple ways that you can support the channel. First of all, hit the like button. It just takes a moment. Second, if you have friends that you think would enjoy the content, go down below and send them a link to the channel. Also, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you, even if it's just a friendly hello. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and turn on notifications. It's that simple. Thanks again for watching.